What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to Lockdown Universe, home of the bizarre, peculiar, and unheard of stories of UFO legend and paranormal lore. Welcome back. Happy to be back. Hopefully you guys are doing excellent. Taking care of yourselves. So today I want to talk to you on this St. Paddy's Day about the supposed UFO motherships that were supposed to appear Saturday night going into Sunday, according to a Miss Elizabeth online. And there was a lot of videos about this on TikTok and elsewhere, and people were anticipating it. I mean, it got huge numbers. And I mean, it just kind of goes to show you that, like, there's a lot of people that have a lot of hope in this community, but sometimes it doesn't always show. So, it doesn't always show up, when people believe it is, or when people are channeled. So this Miss Elizabeth, she was a alien channeler, and they supposedly were channeling through her, telling her that they were going to show up, and they were going to show themselves to the public, which is cool. That would be cool if it happened, but it didn't. But we don't need that, right? Because in the grand scheme of things, we have all these whistleblowers like Jake Barber telling us that his company and others are already able to manifest these ships out of their psychic ability, basically by summoning them. And I had one of the listeners ask me, he's like, would you ever summon a UFO? And if you asked me this question 10 years ago, I would have been like, come on, man, that's not even possible. I had seen a video back in like 2008 of a homeless guy, and he was like, yeah, I can summon UFOs. And he was like getting interviewed by Inside Edition. And I was like, oh, that's cool, whatever. He can summon UFOs. And he did it right during the interview. And I was like, come on, man, that's just luck. That's not real. That's just luck. He got lucky. Or he knew that there was going to be... Jesus Christ. What's up with this? Okay. Anyway, so, yeah, I'm like, no, that's just luck. And it appeared, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe there's something to it now. Now that we have these official reporters coming out and saying, hey, I can do this. We can do this. We have governments that can do this. Maybe it's real. Maybe it's something that guy was able to do. Maybe he thought he was crazy. Maybe he, maybe his personality changed, or maybe he was kind of like one of these psychic intuitives or psychic empaths that have always been able to do it, always had this connection to the, I don't know what you want to call it, to the spiritually divine, or the UFO divine, or alien entities, whatever you want to call them. And he just he didn't know how to handle it, maybe, and so, people never took him seriously. He ended up, through whatever happened with him, he ended up homeless, right? This stuff happens, and, whatever. But you got to take it, now we could take it seriously, right? So would I personally summon UFOs? Man, shit, I don't know if I could summon a UFO. I haven't even tried. But I think it would be kind of cool to see what happened. Do I think that I could do it? I don't know. Sure, if somebody else can, why not me, right? Would I want to? I don't know. That's a good question. But this has been done since back in the day with like Dr. Stephen Greer with his CE5 stuff, right? They've been doing CE5s, which is basically just a community of people that want to or communicate with some aliens and try to communicate with them. I mean, this shit's been done for like over 15 years, I think. Maybe even 20. Stephen Greer has been talking about this and our capabilities of doing it. That you don't have to have any special powers, you don't have to have any special training. This is just stuff that we can do. What I've seen is that there's groups that are forming online and in small communities, even not even like big communities. I'm talking communities of like 10,000 people or less, and people that are wanting to have these experiences together. So like they're actively asking people, hey, do you want to be part of this? And people are like, oh yeah, I'll join up with you. And they're having these experiences where they're able to see these craft. So it leads us to the next question. What would you do if you were able to summon one of these things and they they just came down and hung out in your backyard? What would you do then? Would you ask them to come out of their ship? Would you ask them to come in for a spot of tea or a coffee or a beverage? And I'm not being jokey here. I'm being serious. Like, kind of like, what's the next step? Would they even trust barbarians like us? If you went to another planet and you encountered a few people of that planet that were a little bit more highly evolved than the rest of them, and they were like mentally communicating with you and saying, "Hey, would you come down and hang out with us?" And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they're like, "Hey, I wanna have a drink with you." I don't know. Would you do that? Like, I just don't. I don't know, man. I think it's kind of sketchy, right? Like, I don't know if I trust this barbaric, group of people to be my buddies, be my partners, be my cohorts. I just think that it's a little bit dicey. So, what would you do? I'd like to hear it in the comments. Now, the next step would be, okay, cool. Now you got them in your house. Now you can talk to them. You can say, okay, cool. Well, what's the deal? Is there really a galactic federation? Is there a way for me to be an ambassador to it? Is there a way for me to obtain knowledge from it? Is there a book you can give me? Is there a tablet I can have that I can read off of? Or is it just going to be like a mental digital download of information into my brain, right? And, this question was kind of answered in the movie Contact, where Jodie Foster, at the end of the movie, she goes to this other planet and she communicates with a guy who looks like her father, but it's an alien, and he talks to her about how the process is. It moves slowly. So you may find out that this alien being says, yeah, we'd like to have you join our federation, but we have to take things very slowly. So we're going to talk to you. We're going to communicate with you. We're going to take baby steps, as they say in the movie. And she's the only one that has this experience, and nobody believes her when she gets, technically back to Earth. You just have to see the movie if you haven't seen it. I mean, the movie came out in '97. If you haven't seen it by now, you should do it. It's really good. But anyway, I think these are the next steps. I don't know. I mean, we don't need the government. You don't need the government anymore. You don't need them to be the middleman, according to Jake Barber and all these other individuals. All you need is you. You only need you. That's it. We are the ultimate machine. We are the ultimate communication machine, according to Jake Barber and many others. Stephen Greer and many, many others. If you don't like Stephen Greer, there's many other people that say the same thing. And according to Joseph McMoneagle, we're the ultimate time machine. We can remote view back and forth in time and space. So your own body is its own transceiver. And the only limitation is your thought process. So if you don't think you can do it, you're probably right. If you think you can, you're probably also right. So give it a shot. I say, what the hell? I mean, the world's pretty effed up as it is right now. So getting a little bit of maybe friendly advice from some folks out in space might not be the worst case scenario. I mean, they probably already, I'm sure all societies have undergone the same trials and tribulations that we have in order to get to where they are. Like, you have to survive, right? You have to gather materials to survive. Then you have to trade for those materials. And to make your life easier, you have people that do specialties. And then there's a trade for that. And usually there's a system. And that system, even if it's run more like communism, where everybody's, paid equally, usually there's an abuse of that system somewhere, whether it's government or something else. So they have to go through all the same hurdles that we do, I think, at some point in their evolution. And they may only be 100 years more advanced than us, or 150, according to Randy Kramer, where they've developed a system that works. That's not necessarily capitalism anymore. You know, it's a spiritual system that everybody finds their niche in, and they participate in the community with. I don't know. I don't know what the end game is for us, but I think that if we're going to broaden our horizons, I think we got to broaden them outside of humanity. We got to broaden them outside of the people on Earth, because we're limited. I think we're kind of limited in the scope of what we can conceive a lot, but in order to put it into place, it may take just tapping into that collective unconscious just a little bit more, or collective consciousness. And I always get those flipped back and forth. But I think we might just need to tap into the connection to other societies, see what they've done, see how we can make adjustments, and move forward. The most enlightened people here on the planet, the best developers, the best artists in music and art and different mediums, people who have developed the best formulas for maths and sciences and broken new ground. It's all gathered from the collective consciousness. It's always been there. It's just floating around in the ether. People have dreams, and then these dreams end up helping them develop what becomes a successful part of their lives. It's always in there. It's always out there, tapped in. Think about this for a second. And this is all about the same podcast. I know I kind of go from here to there, but it's all psychic. It's all part of the collective consciousness that we have with the aliens. Have you ever had a dream? You're woken up, and you're like, man, that seems, and you predicted the future, let's say. You predicted something that you saw in the future. Maybe later on that day, maybe in somebody else's life, whatever. And it came true. That's tapping into the collective consciousness. The other way you can look at it is, have you ever woken up with a really cool idea? When I was really into music, when I was really playing music, I would wake up with all of this music in my head, different musical ideas, notes, songs. I was tapped into that frequency. Always, every day I was waking up. I'd try to record it or just hum it on my phone and bring it into reality. Whatever you want to tap into in this life, you can tap into. You just have to have the focus to do it. A woman won multiple sweepstakes simply by envisioning. What she call it? It was an acronym. It had 4 letters. It was like envision it, select it, accept it, something else. It right, and basically she used the secret, like Oprah talked about. It's basically envisioning you're going to have whatever you want, and you continually envision it, and it happens. So whatever your focus is in life is where you'll end up. If your focus is to be at the same job, at the same place, at the same time, all the time, and you're just like stuck, that's fine. But that's your drive, that's your focus. If your focus is like 100% into you're gonna do something 100% differently, or into tapping into the collective unconscious or consciousness, or tapping into communicating with an alien, you're gonna do it. You will do it. It's just a matter of how much time and effort you want to put into it. And it doesn't take a lot. You could do it tonight. You know? I mean, it's not schizophrenia anymore. It's not delusions anymore. These are government officials that have come out and said this stuff is real. These are guys that worked on deep ops that said this stuff is real. These documents about remote viewing have been out. It goes all the way back to 84, and that's just one mission. This stuff has been around for forever. Stuff goes back to the natives. Stuff goes back to before the Native Americans. Stuff goes back to all around the world. India, the Philippines, Indonesia, Micronesia, China. The problem is that we've just gotten too far away from it. We got to go back to nature. I think we had that, like in 2020, in 2021. We had COVID. We were like all kind of going back into nature. People were going on walks, going back into forest preserves and things like that. You know, and now we're kind of getting away from it again, and they're trying to draw us back into the office. I think we got to get back to nature. Got to get back into that meditational state, back into that meditational flow. Take your time off. Take your time for you. Tap in and get it back. Would you try to summon a UFO? Would you try to summon an alien to have a conversation with? Would you feel safe? Would you know that this particular alien species was just willing to be benevolent, not malevolent? It's a good question. So, you should leave your comments in the comments section, and we can have a good conversation about it. All right, guys, take care of yourselves. Question everything. Follow through on your hobbies and your goals and your dreams. Meditate. Pray. Pray for your body. Pray for your loved ones. Pray for your family. Meditate on happiness. Meditate on success. Meditate on fulfilling your dreams, whatever they are. It doesn't have to be anybody else's dream. Be your dream. And as always, continue to question the universe around you. I wish you peace. I wish you love. I wish you kindness and patience. Curiosity. Go find out what's up with these aliens. And let me know in the comment section. Locked On Universe out. Peace.